Getty, Theresa May's convinced Britons about Russia's killing of Sergei Skripal. A poll says the Comries survey for the Sunday Express found just 1 in 7 believes Moscow's claims it did not attempt to assassinate former Russian agent Sergei Skripal and his daughter Yulia with nerve agent Novikov. This was compared to 61% who regard the Kremlin as a global menace, and asked before yesterday's raid on Syria if Britain should join the US and France in missile strikes against President Assad. Only 29% agreed while 36% were opposed. However, 35% said they didn't know, suggesting Theresa May could still win over most of the UK public after the 2 a.m. blitz on targets involved in chemical weapon production. The findings come as the Prime Minister prepares to make a statement to the House of Commons tomorrow justifying her actions. Labour leader Jeremy Corbyn has written to Mrs May calling the attack legally questionable and insisting MPs should have had a vote. However, Labour's leader in Wales, First Minister Carwyn Jones, said he backed any intervention that could prevent a further atrocity. Many of Jeremy Corbyn's voter base remain unsure. Theresa May has largely succeeded in persuading voters that Putin was behind the Salisbury attack and that Russia is making an aggressive nuisance of itself. Andrew Hawkins' poll puts Labour's popularity up 1 point to 41% since the 2017 general election, the Tories down 2 points to 40% and the Lib Dems on 7%. The poll, the first by Comries on voting intention since the election, shows that while the Conservatives and Labour are almost neck and neck, Labour are ahead among the under 55s, while the Tories lead among the over 55s. Ahead of next month's local elections, Labour are leading the Conservatives by 55% to 32% in the north, while the Conservatives are ahead of Labour by 46% to 37% in the Midlands and by 44% to 39% in the south. About 1 in 5 2017 Lib Dem votes has switched to Labour, but only 1 in 20 has gone to the Tories. If this trend was repeated at the next election, it would result in a hung parliament with the Conservatives 37 seats short of a majority. Getty. Half of Britons were convinced over Sergei Skripal's death. Comries chairman Andrew Hawkins said, Theresa May has largely succeeded in persuading voters that Putin was behind the Salisbury attack and that Russia is making an aggressive nuisance of itself. While voters are less gung-ho about military action against Syria than Theresa May would perhaps like, the battle for public opinion over joint action against President Assad has certainly not been lost, even among Jeremy Corbyn's vote base. Conservative voters were more likely to support military action on 38%, with 31% opposed. While 40% of Labour voters did not want intervention, 27% were in favor. Liberal Democrat voters were similarly divided, with 36% opposing the missile strikes and 30% supporting them. Like his Labour counterpart, Lib Dem leader Sir Vince Gable said Mrs May should have sought parliamentary approval before deploying RAF fighter jets, saying her decision fatally undermines the integrity of this mission. He said, riding the coattails of an erratic US president is no substitute for a mandate from the House of Commons. Scottish First Minister Nicola Sturgeon said Mrs May had failed to explain how the military action would bring long-term peace. However, Northern Ireland's Democratic Unionist Party, which is propping up Mrs May's minority government, backed her decision. The survey found men were more supportive of military action than women, 36% to 23%. Age had less of an impact on the results, although 18 to 34-year-olds were least likely to support it. 24% of the 61% who agreed with the statement, the Russian government has become a force for evil in the world. Older voters were most likely to agree, especially those most likely to remember the Iron Curtain. If the voters were less convinced by Syrian airstrikes, younger people were most likely to say they didn't know. Nearly three-quarters of Conservative voters, 73%, and Lib Dem voters, 74%, and just over half of Labour voters, 56%, agreed with the statement. The survey found 50% of all British people believe President Putin was responsible for the Salisbury nerve agent attack. At the same time, a third told pollsters that they didn't know. In total, 14%, or 1 in 7, believed he was not responsible. Comries surveyed 2,038 adults on April 11 to 12, 2018, about their voting intentions and views on Syria. Data were weighted to be representative of all GB adults and bypassed vote. Comries is a member of the British Polling Council and abides by its rules. Find full tables at commerceglobal.com.